Thanks very much, Lorna. Good afternoon, everybody, and you're all very welcome to this conference. Um, One of the disadvantages of being the third of three people introducing a conference is you have to draw your pen through all of the lines that have already been taken by those who've spoken before, but that's very good. It means I don't have to repeat them, and I can be brief. I have two short speaking opportunities this evening, so that will do me. On November 8th, 2013, Typhoon Haiyan tore a path of destruction through the islands of the Philippines. And during about 6 hours, 44 million palm trees were either completely destroyed or seriously damaged. The fruit of the palm tree was, up until that moment, the biggest agricultural export of the Philippines. Most of that destruction and damage has not yet been fixed. That damage still exists, it's there, it's visible. About 40,000 farming families lost their livelihood in those few hours. Nobody is saying that that is evidence of climate change, but when you put that together with everything else that we have seen in our climate and in many other aspects of life over the last 20 years or so, you have to say we would be very foolish to assume that it's not. For more than a decade now, Trocaire, in the countries where we work, we have seen the huge impact that climate change is having on many communities. Climate change is the ultimate threat amplifier. It compounds already difficult situations and it rolls back development gains. We know that unless we act now, within the next 20 to 30 years, there will be a huge impact on this planet's ability to produce food. Tens and perhaps hundreds of millions of people will be hungrier than they are now. Water shortages, access to water, ownership of water is likely to be another problem. Health issues, tens of thousands of people can and probably will die as a result of climate change, particularly caused by pollution. Conflict, migration, all of these problems, unless we deal with climate change now and face up to the challenge of climate justice, this is the future for us and for the entire planet. What we know as well is that addressing this problem requires a radical shift in direction. Business as usual is not an option. Pope Francis has reminded us in his encyclical that everything is connected. Hugh has mentioned this already. So, to tackle climate change, we need to forge new approaches which enable the very best of all disciplines, whether it's ethics, science, business, politics, and activism, to work together. Hugh has already outlined, and Philip, why we have come together as three organisations to work on this issue. We feel that the challenge is substantial and each of us brings something to the table. Philip and the university here, with their expertise in the science of climate change, Trocaire with our access to communities around the world that are affected by climate change, and Hugh, another college with a student body and also a theological and an ethical and a moral perspective on this. The dialogue that we have started as three institutions is based on a premise, and that premise is our belief that there is a problem. And if we accept this, our challenge is to begin to understand how to address it together. This requires a new openness to the notion of the common good. Individual or national self-interest is no longer enough. Pope Francis has again spoken about the common good, and this is, I believe, the major challenge facing us in addressing the issue of climate justice. We tend to think very locally and very individually. So whether it is development organisations, university institutions, politicians, international organizations, we can no longer think in that individual or local or regional or national basis. That self-interest is no longer enough. We require nothing less than a global ecological conversion. That is what is required of us now. We all have a role to play in this. However, it is also very clear that time is not on our side anymore. I hope, as Director of Trocaire, that you find the next day and a half or so to be interesting, to be challenging, and that you will take the opportunity to engage with the speakers, to engage in the plenary sessions, also to engage with each other in the social occasions that we have created around this as well. And that out of this, whether you are here in the college or whether you're watching or listening online, that we can create an ever-expanding community of people who are committed and dedicated to climate justice and to bringing about change. You're all very welcome. Thank you very much.